For me, I can just tell you what I think, but hey, what does Zoe know? You know what I mean? So,
What does Zoe know?
you're on the show. What does Zoe know? Right? This is the podcast. What does Zoe know? And I'm here with our guest, Ryan Shea. Ryan Shea, you are I'll call you a real estate developer, but no.
Sure, we can develop real estate, whatever you want.
You're a realtor, or you just
I'm a
invest?
realtor.
Okay,
Yeah,
realtor, and you have a book that you wrote. What's the name of it?
correct. Condo Living Dallas.
Condo Living Dallas. Okay,
Yeah.
all right. What do we have entailed in that book there? Huh?
Well, it's everything you need to know about condominium living. I can give you a little bit of piece of a nugget.
Yeah.
When I came into your home here, I was thinking it was possibly a townhome, but there's a difference between condominiums and townhomes, or can be.
Yeah, I
And
thought
that,
I thought they were the same shit. One you just paying outright to own, and the other one you just get out of there at some point when your lease is over.
well, so condos and townhomes, when you're purchasing, there's two types of townhomes when you're purchasing them.
Okay.
There's a townhome with a survey. The survey is what you get when you buy a home, like a single family home, which basically gives you ownership to the land that the property is on.
Okay.
Okay. And there's a townhomes that have surveys where you do own the ground that townhome is on. However, there's certain townhomes that are condominiums and you don't receive a survey. Okay. All condominiums, and this is in the state of Texas, by the way,
Okay.
because some states are a little bit different. All condominiums in the state of Texas, you do not receive a survey. So basically, what you do in a condominium, you own the airspace.
Oh.
So a lot of people don't understand all the nuances and
Airspace.
differences. Yeah, you basically own what's inside the walls. But there's differences in that as well because each HOA is a little bit different, and there's certain things that the owner is responsible for, maybe that you can't see. You think of airspace and like the plumbing underneath your sink.
Yeah, I'm thinking of everything above the building and everything. Like I can I can float a balloon, a hot air balloon above it, and I'm still good. I don't have to worry about it because it's my space. Everything is from the roof, and I can go as high as as far as what I own.
Yeah, exactly.
How far can I
That's
go up?
basically it. I mean, essentially, so most of the time it's to the roof because most of the time the HOA is responsible for the roof of a condominium. However, a townhome row house, okay, townhome row house, which
Okay.
is where you have the survey, the owner is responsible for everything, okay? And now I say he's responsible, or he or she is responsible for everything. However, there's within the HOAs, there may be certain things that the HOA takes care of in a townhome, even with the survey. But that's the same thing if you were in a single family neighborhood and there was an HOA in that neighborhood. It's the same thing as that.
So HOAs are they're not standard. It's not like a standard rule across all HOAs where you
No.
get some basic things covered. No.
No, it's all they're every HOA is pretty much different.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
So you never know what to expect until you actually speak to them and find out.
Exactly. That's why in the book, one of the things I always remind people, if you're buying a condominium, always have a realtor that knows that building and knows condominiums and townhomes, because there's way more nuances within condominiums and townhomes and even zero lot lines. And really, in zero lot lines are essentially like townhomes as well. They're just there's not much of a lot. They're
Okay.
like single family homes, but there's all these different nuances that come up that if you are not prepared and you don't know what you're doing, you can, you'll overlook things. It's
Okay.
not so much
Okay.
that you're going to get swindled or anything like that. You just may not know, and and if there was something that came up and you went to the HOA and the HOA would be like, look, that was in your documents. It was very clear when you signed everything. This is what you were responsible for.
Well,
So
well, speaking of which, I know that there are quite a number of people out here that think that when you say swindle, that there are some realtors that are that are in cahoots with sellers as far as trying to hide things that you don't see, try to fudge up the paperwork just so they can get the deal done, money split and everything. Everyone go about their business, and whoever bought it, it's on you after that.
Yeah.
Like what is there something to be? Is that a valid concern for people out here? They're in the buying market.
Yeah, so here's the thing. I think there are checkpoints and spots along the way within how real estate is transacted that covers the buyer. And this doesn't kind of veers off a little bit, but it also, I do go into it in the book because I was gonna, let's say I was gonna buy this townhome that you're in right now, and I submit an offer to you for a certain amount of money, and we agree on all of the terms within that contract: price, closing date, title company, where we're going to close, and there's something on there called the inspection period. Okay. Generally, that inspection period is anywhere from, really, it can be 0 to 10 days generally. Okay. And during that inspection period, what the buyer has the right to do is bring an inspector into this property and inspect the property.
An independent inspector.
Exactly. And really, it's independent, but it's someone that the buyer pays for as well. So that inspector comes in and
you say the buyer gets it because it's in the buyer's interest to have
exactly.
it. So they're looking out for the buyer.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, it's essentially for the buyer. It is and it isn't, because what ends up happening, a lot of times stuff will come up in the inspection. Let's say there was a plumbing issue. And what the buyer can do during that inspection period after the inspection is done is go to the seller and say, hey, look, we found this pipe that's leaking underneath someplace, and we want you to fix that. Or you might do some type of seller concession where they give you a certain amount of money in closing costs. Let's say that we got a quote
to
for
cover
that
your
plumbing.
expense for that.
Exactly. Let's say that we got a quote for $500 to do that plumbing, and they would give us $500 in seller paid closing costs, which would basically go towards the closing cost of the property, or they may take $500 off the price.
Right.
But it's normally better for the buyer to, I always say, to have that come off your closing costs, because it's if you put it onto the price, most people get a loan, and taking your loan down $500 is practically nothing.
Right.
So the $500 off
Doesn't help you at all.
It really doesn't. So if you get it in seller paid closing costs, that's essentially they're giving you $500 at closing, which is, to me, much more valuable.
significant.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So that's the inspection period that basically protects the buyer. Having said that, I had a conversation with a lady who had her inspection done, had all this stuff going on, and went through the whole process, bought the house, and after she bought the house, she discovered that there was mold, and it was like in behind the walls. And what she found out was that the sellers did know about this before they sold her the home. So what
How did you find out that?
I don't know all the details. There was some.
I know you knew.
Oh, it wasn't my deal. She was telling me about it, but you know, there was basically a litigation that happened, and it came out that they did know.
Wow. Also, at first they tried to deny it.
Exactly.
Oh.
Yep.
See?
Well, they didn't tell her from the beginning either.
Yeah, they didn't disclose
but see,
it.
that's one of the things that can happen a lot of times that you don't even see inside an inspection, because let's say we see this wall here, but you have no idea.
A realtor and an inspector, and an inspector, they very much likely may miss some things, and unintentionally. I mean, and not because they didn't do a good job, it's because just some things may not come up in a typical inspection.
Yeah, I mean, there's just some things you may not see. There's, but
like you can't see behind the wall. You have to have some
Exactly.
indicators on the outside to let you know that there's maybe something an issue. But how? Okay, but at that point, if the inspector couldn't see it, how do you get to a point where you have the home and now you found out something's behind the wall? I wonder how that even comes up.
Well, you know, and I don't know specifically in that situation what happened. And sometimes what ends up happening, like, look, something just happens, plumbing behind the wall or some other type of issue that happens after the sale of the house. Like, listen, that's just the part of home ownership.
Right.
There's
and
gonna be
then
stuff
you would
that's gonna
discover
go on.
something else.
Yeah, and it can just like lead to the next thing, to the next thing.
Is there a statute of limitations? Like, how long can you have the home before you find some issues that you can now claim that the seller owes you for it? Like, you've had the house 10 years now. You didn't see that before, no?
Yeah, I mean,
Anything?
basically what happens, and there's not really a statute of limitations. I mean, you can go back and see what you can figure out, or get a lawyer involved if there are issues that come up, and you think that the sellers did have to know about this particular issue.
Like bodies in the basement.
Exactly, exactly. Like,
Y'all moving
hey, I'm pretty sure those dead people you knew about, or someone did. We gotta.
Yeah.
What
He had
happened?
his driver's license in his hand when
Yeah,
he
he had a video of the whole thing happening, and you were actually on there. We've got his phone. We figured it all out.
Yeah. Yeah. And you say you didn't know. I remember that.
I like you. Kind of lighten it up here. Yep. Oh yeah.
Right.
Yep. This is good.
Good talking to you, man.
Yeah, it's good talking
Good,
to you. Thanks
good,
for
good.
having me on the show.
Hey, I want you to give a plug to your book again. What's the name of it, or where can we find it?
Yeah, Condo Living Dallas. You can get on Amazon. It's on Amazon. And you can type in Condo Living Dallas or my name, Ryan Shea, RyanShea, and grab a book on there. And if I can help anyone with their real estate needs, I'm more than happy to do that, of course.
Do you have any social media or anything anybody can find you on?
Shea DFW Realty, Condo Living Dallas. If you type in condolivingdallas.com, and I'm on Facebook. I have different business pages on there, and but yeah.
Good stuff.
Yep.
Good stuff. You're here with What Does Zoe Know? I am Zoe, and I have my guest today, Ryan Shea. It was good talking to you, and hopefully we have you again. We have another discussion about some other stuff, okay?
Cool. Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
All right. If you have any questions, you can drop them in the comments. I want you to like, share, and subscribe. Again, you've been watching What Does Zoe Know?